Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel, Astrology. My name's Samuel Dudgeon. I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine and a planetary and Chinese astrologer. And for those interested, as you know or may or not know, I've got a book, Beginner's Guide to Chinese Astrology, plus a course online on my website, astropillasastrology.com.au, called Fundamentals of Chinese Astrology. Now, put all that aside, we're going to hear and have a look at Julian Assange's astrology chart. And his Chinese astrology, as well as we'll have a quick look at his planetary. And his chart, actually, Julian Assange's chart is not that easy to work out, actually, because he has got what they call in Chinese astrology one of those changing charts, which means that the flow of the chart is a little difficult to navigate. But I'll try and explain it as best I can while we're doing this, because I know I've got some people interested in Chinese astrology. So this is but these are the more difficult charts to navigate, probably a little bit more higher level when it comes to this, because we've got to understand what they call the hidden stems and branches within the branches. And the branches are clearly what we've got: the monkey, the ox, the horse, and the pig. Now, first and foremost, Julian Assange is born on a Yin-Earth Daymaster. So Yin-Earth Daymasters can be a little bit OCD, obsessive compulsive, have a very, very good intellect, very good at absorbing information too. And he is actually born on the Yin-Earth Ox, which is one of the 6 intelligent days. So this guy's obviously a very smart cookie. And also, we have the Yin-Earth Daymaster combining with Yang Wood. Now, that's significant as well, because it is a Yang Wood year this year, and he has been released, right? And so, in essence, when the Daymaster combines with power, you do get a lot of status and recognition out in the world, especially when it's in the 4 pillars here. Donald Trump had the same configuration. I did his chart about a week ago. Assange has the same thing. And it's interesting that he got released this year in 2024, because that Yin-Earth Daymaster is combining with Yang Wood, so it's bringing him power, status, and recognition. And I actually haven't followed it so closely, so I'm not sure about the details. But I'm sure that would have elevated him to be able to get out, so to speak. And also, he is in the year of the dragon. Now, the dragon for him, speaking of hidden stems and branches, has the hidden water stem in there, which is very, very favorable for him. So this year has been a very good year for him. And having said that, when we look at confinement in astrology, particularly Chinese astrology, it can happen, in my opinion, when you've got one of the star of losses in the chart, which he does, and the ox is significant of that. I still need to get a little bit more data to find out how accurate that is, but I have noticed that. But the cool thing about his chart is, I think from a Chinese astrological perspective, he's got a lot of what they call he's got the heavenly happiness star, the heavenly relief star, and the heavenly virtue star. Now, all these kind of stars, especially on this level, especially the heavenly relief star, gives you a high degree of protection, even if you have to go to court or jail or prison and this kind of thing. So I believe, in a way, he did have this, because when we look at his planetary configuration chart, right, if we come over here, right, we can see that obviously he's a Sag rising, so Jupiter is the actual lord of his chart, right? It's retrograde in the 12th house. Now, the 12th house is all about confinement, isolation, and rules prisons, asylums, hospitals, art galleries, these kind of things. These kind of mental asylums, these kind of taboo sides of society where no one really wants to kind of revisit in a way, visits in a way, sorry. But so the Lord of his chart's in the 12th. So in my opinion, in some level, he's destined to go there actually to learn some serious lessons. The planet's retrograde too, which can mean there's delays in life, so to speak, especially if that's ruled by the Lord of your chart. Also, I think one of the key thing is, and obviously I'm doing the Placidus house system. Some people do whole signs. I used to do whole signs, but I find the timing of Placidus a little bit better. So I was just throwing that in quickly. But I think, Jupiter usually shows us where the area of our chart we need to kind of gravitate to obtain wisdom. Now, also, his chart, the Jupiter in his chart is actually intercepted, which is not an easy thing, which means that in a way it's difficult to find experiences around which define your philosophical beliefs, because Jupiter is the planet of expansion, philosophy, our beliefs, and also having Jupiter in the 12th is considered one of the guardian angel type aspects, but it's almost like he needed to go outside of his own limitations in his environment to develop this philosophical wisdom or this psychology, to find the principles of the psychology and wisdom that work for himself, going through what he actually has to go through. This is how I would put this Jupiter interception there. So when Jupiter is intercepted, it's really difficult for us to experience and find our experiences that encourage our growth and personal growth. But I think the constraints of the environment he was in would have been like the pressure cooker for him as well, because his moon's trapped in there as well in this interception. So usually when we look at house cusp, right, we look at Venus. Venus rules there. Venus rules Libra. That's one doorway in. But then there's another co-ruler there, which is Scorpio, ruled by Mars, coming from the 4th house down there. So it's and usually when the moon is trapped in there, right, it's difficult. The moon's in fall in Scorpio, not a good placement. It's not actually a negative thing, but it's more like, well, and plus the interception, man, you're going to have to go through some stuff to really access those emotions. And it'd be difficult to access memories from the past as well for your own personal growth. It's almost like the emotions are entrapped there. So it's a very, very, I would say, one of his clearly destiny to go there, I would say. And he's got obviously Neptune in opposition to Saturn. Saturn's on the cusp of the 7th, which means, he's had open enemies there. And, he could have been attracted to people in a way that would be deceitful and cunning, right? Because Neptune is the sign of deception. And they would be, probably because Saturn rules authority, people in positions of authority, I would say. So, and others can try and take advantage of you. I mean, I don't know the whole ins and outs of the WikiLeaks thing. I haven't followed it that extensively. But I just thought his chart is a great example of someone in a way who's going to be destined to be incarcerated to go into the 12th house. Clearly. And it's fascinating. I mean, this is why I love astrology, because it can see these kind of things, right, happen. And, the Chinese astro, I mean, is not as clear, right? So in terms of this incarceration incidents, and this is why I tend to, when I do charts for people, I always look at both, because I can see certain things in Chinese astrology and I can obviously see things in planetary. And my sun sign's a Gemini, I got a Gemini South Node, so I like having two things going on at the same time. And I think the other important thing about Assange's chart, in terms of him being able to get away, well, clearly to get out, which I thought he would have anyway, having a Jupiter in the 12th house, because like I said, it's like the guardian angel principle. Plus, in his Chinese astrology, he had these heavenly relief stars, the heavenly virtue star and the heavenly happiness star, which is considered like a blessing in a way. But then he has two special stars in his charts, and special stars coming from the monkey and the ox, which can give him this special stars in without talking Chinese, actually, what do you call it? They're independent of favorable elements, so they're just genuinely really auspicious. So so when I did look at his chart, was quite a few years ago. I thought, oh no, he was going to come out at some point, I would say, because he has these degrees of protection, quite a few. And then also he's got this what they call the broken house configuration with a horse and a pig, which can just mean, you tend to move a lot in life. You get moved around a lot, more so against your will. So I'm not sure about his childhood and upbringing and what he's gone through. And obviously he got, moved into confinement, clearly. But so there's these other aspects going on here. But this Jupiter ruling the Lord of his chart in conjunction with Neptune in opposition to Saturn. And yeah, it's a wow. I mean, he was just definitely destined to go through what he's gone through, and it's just a real interesting take. I mean, this is a very quick, basic look at his chart. There's obviously a few other things we can look at, but I just wanted to give people really the snapshot of the Chinese astrological view, because not many people know about Bazi. And yeah, so I'm going to look at doing a few more charts later on. I'll find some interesting people to look at. So stay tuned for that, guys, and thank you very much for listening.